Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for April 26, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 17. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 5 articles in this show. Today, we're going to be talking about secret spin-offs, TV theater screenings, newest Oscar rule, a 14-season mystery series, and the Thomas Crown affair. That and more on the other side of this. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Okay, I'm not sure. We're going to see if all of the technical glitches have been worked out, but we just detected a technical glitch that we weren't really aware of, but we'll see what happens.
So we'll find out after the fact.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I noticed that, like, us streaming out, everything is matched, but the audio got disconnected at some point. And so the last 2 shows kind of have this wonky audio. It's not matching the video, and I don't know, maybe I'll have to just reprocess and upload them again. But anyway, we've got these 5 articles all set up. Let's get them out of the way. ohmTown is the parent of this, and inside it is all 7 of the shows that we actually broadcast out. This is the Continuity Report. This is what that little show looks like, its front page. We're going to update the graphics as this year progresses. And our first article is 7 movies that could be secret spin-offs to other films. Fans often come up with intricate theories which link popular movies together, suggesting that seemingly unrelated movies could take part in the same universe. Snowpiercer is the sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Willy Wonka and Wonka.
Yep, and Willy Wonka is the sequel to Wonka, right? What could come before it? What could come after it? I don't know. Sometimes this is because an actor plays 2 similar roles, but it can also be a response to 2 movies which share similar concepts. While these fan theories aren't supposed to be taken too seriously, it's still interesting to see how much different movies can overlap. If you watch Snowpiercer, there is some serious world-building parallels with the architecture and the mannerisms and perceptions of the people that are running the train.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've also seen films and music overlap.
Yeah. So this first article, it's over at Screen Rant. Ben Prothero put the article together, and it says popular ideas about how unrelated movies, that's not spelled properly, might secretly be linked. Also highlight how absurd some real spin-offs are. So Dodgeball could be a spin-off to Heavyweights. Ben Stiller's character seems to have a lot in common. I don't remember Heavyweights. Dodgeball is often regarded as Ben Stiller's funniest movie, or one of Ben Stiller's funniest movies. He manages to steal the show as an egotistical gym owner, White Goodman. Even though he isn't the main character, Goodman is a fitness freak who ends the movie relapsing into his overeating habits after a humiliating loss. Aww. Heavyweights doesn't get much attention as some of Stiller's biggest hits, but it's a cult classic in some circles. Stiller plays an eccentric fitness camp instructor who's clearly more interested in his own personal brand than helping any other children.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. It would have been good if they connected the names somehow, even if they weren't identical.
Yeah, can you imagine? He left the camp
like
and
it's
started
like
up
slightly different or something. Yeah.
Yeah, just nearby. E.T. the Extraterrestrial could spin off to Star Wars. An Easter egg in The Phantom Menace links to Steven Spielberg's classic. Didn't know that.
I didn't either.
So
but
there's an Easter egg in The Phantom Menace that nods to E.T. the Extraterrestrial. The appearance of aliens in the Galactic Senate that look like E.T. suggests that Spielberg's sci-fi classic might take place in the same universe as Star Wars.
Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard that one before.
It could be that that Star Wars doesn't take place in a galaxy far, far away after all, is what it says here.
Wow.
Galaxy Quest could be a spin-off to Men in Black. Sci-fi comedies have some similarities. They say here that Galaxy Quest could be a spin-off of Men in Black, which shows a madcap adventure from the point of view of the aliens. Of course, both movies feature Tony Shalhoub, but this isn't the only way that they are linked. Galaxy Quest's juxtaposition of sci-fi concepts with mundane earthbound drama aligns with the humor of Men in Black, and the only thing missing is an agent trying to bring the actors in Galaxy Quest home before they inadvertently cause an interplanetary incident.
So I haven't seen Galaxy Quest, but at least this article makes a compelling connection.
It's interesting. It's so funny. Anyway, so aristocrats, or no, that's a joke. The Aristocats could be a spin-off to 101 Dalmatians. They share a similar art style, apparently. I don't know how far that goes. The idea
that's
that
just the more than that.
Yeah. The Aristocats could be a spin-off of 101 Dalmatians is one that stands up to scrutiny. A movie featuring cats on an adventure in Paris seems like a natural follow-up to a movie about dogs on an adventure in London. All right.
And I can see that.
Sure. Fast and Furious could be a spin-off to Point Break. Started out as a police story, apparently. Too Fast, Too Furious shows how the franchise initially tried to develop in line with the original idea. Brian was the star, not Dom. But this didn't last long. If things had continued in the same vein, Fast and Furious franchise would have been even more in common with Point Break. Point Break is a movie, it says, with a strikingly similar concept of Point Break, but with racing instead of surfing. I don't even remember Point Break other than it was a surfing beach
I don't know what
movie.
the similarity is.
So it's been a while since I watched Point Break. Like, it dropped. That was the last time I saw it. I never watched it again. So number 2 is Get Out could be a spin-off to Being John Malkovich. Jordan Peele's debut seems to develop an old idea. Get Out was an amazing movie. I want to watch it again. I think I purchased it. So one key difference between Get Out and Being John Malkovich is that Get Out uses a sci-fi explanation for the same general concept. The Armitage family perform experimental brain surgery. This is an old movie, so if there's a spoiler alert.
I'm not too worried about it.
So the Armitage family perform experimental brain surgery on their victims, implanting the consciousness of the highest bidder, and this could be a revolutionary way to harness the strange, unexplained magic that's seen in Being John Malkovich. Spike Jonze is a dark comedy delights in the absurd, impossible future of its premise. But this is not a dark comedy. Get Out. Get Out is one of those things that messes with your mind.
Right, like psychological thriller, horror, something like that.
Yeah, and there's a very poignant moment where it really drives home the point about just how evil this is, and it involves a teacup. So I'll have to watch it again.
Well, what's interesting here to me is I get the sense that Jordan Peele does things very deliberately. So I actually think this one might have the most credibility. I could see him doing something like this intentionally.
Yeah, lining it up. Yeah, I can see that too. That'd be great. And then number 1 is Matilda could be a spin-off to Carrie. Matilda could show the next generation of telekinetic girls. So, but a spin-off of Carrie? Huh. So it says Matilda and Carrie both follow girls who discover that they have telekinetic abilities. They don't discover it in the same way, though, but they have completely different tones and styles. Okay, yeah, so the next sentence basically highlights what I was about to say. Matilda could be seen as an example of what might happen to Carrie with a slightly less oppressive upbringing and a figure like Ms. Honey in her life. Matilda only has a fraction of the darkness and a lot more humor to keep things pleasant. So a spin-off as more happy than Carrie? I don't know what happens to the end of Carrie. I don't remember that. Huh.
I don't either, but I suspect it doesn't end on a positive note. But I did check. I mean, Matilda is about 14 years later than Carrie, the book versions.
Right.
Sure.
So, I mean...
So it's possible.
Well, it says there isn't much that links the works of Stephen King and Roald Dahl, but Carrie and Matilda stories share some key similarities. Largely that there is some type of abusive power over them, exploitive in some way, some sense. And then because of the sociological forces of their particular peer group kind of harassing them, hazing them, they develop their telekinetic powers. At the end of Matilda, I know that she hides her telekinetic powers and then kind of looks back at the barrels of the camera and goes, you know, everybody leaves knowing that she still has her powers. But I don't remember Carrie. It's been a long time since I watched that the last time.
Well, I will share that one of the influences of a character in Matilda, not necessarily the protagonist, was a headmistress at a school that Dahl attended.
Interesting.
So, I mean, there's at least some external stuff going on, but...
Neat. There, Get Out, though. Oh, God, that one messed with me. Because the brain is very complex. So I would love for telekinesis to actually take place. But I do think that it's possible to suppress somebody's personality. And it happens particularly with traumatic events. A person's personality fractures. And so different people react differently. But telekinesis would be amazing. I don't think we have the ability to do that kind of stuff, but maybe through technology. All right, let's keep on going. Sound good? Oh, by the way, if you want to get today's articles, you can hit !TCR in the Twitch chat, and Omatron will spit out the articles in the order that we're talking about them. So the first one we just talked about, secret spinoffs. The next one, though, is... fans point out a massive moneymaker big studios are missing out on: TV theater screenings. TV shows like The Walking Dead on AMC or Succession and The Last of Us on HBO are come with emotional punches, shocking twists, and intense fan discourse, sometimes generating even more buzz than a summer blockbuster. Yet there is a major hole in the market, a collective theatrical viewing experience for television fans. Guess it just doesn't take place. So Lucy
That's
Owens
interesting because what you've talked about in the continuity report previously.
Which part? Everybody watching watch parties? Yeah. So Lucy Owens, I mean, because I have another idea for something and I don't want to talk about it until it actually is manifest, but Mobble, basically. And so Lucy Owens over at GameRant.com put this article together. It says fans want theaters to screen TV episodes for a communal viewing experience that streaming can't replicate. AMC's The Walking Dead and HBO, like shows like Succession or Succession, shows the potential for theater screenings of TV episodes, and licensing hurdles and subscription models are challenging, but theaters and studios have much to gain from TV show screenings. It would be great, but you would have to augment it. Like, you have to be a subscriber. You get a discounted access to a group watch of a show in a theater if you are a subscriber to that. Like, you subscribe to Peacock, and instead of paying $25 to watch that episode you can pay $8 and you get to sit with a cohort of people that are of like mind, because why not, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that would completely change the viewing experience. By the way, I have to mention, Roald Dahl had quite a bit of horror background. He wrote for shows like The Twilight Zone, etc., but I couldn't find any clear connection with Stephen King.
Oh, gotcha. They still had the same mindset. I'm sure that they riffed off of each other in terms of inspiration. Well, I don't know. Wait, were they in the same time frame?
I would say, yeah, they were, but the books were a little bit apart in time. But in terms of
Gotcha.
like life,
Time
life
frame.
stages and everything, they were actually pretty close in time, I think.
Oh, gotcha. So they say here on Reddit, fans recently ignited a heated debate over why television episodes, particularly from prestige and cult genre shows, aren't being shown in theaters more often. One post gained serious traction, asked why the White Lotus finale wasn't offered as a big screen event. They say that they would have paid $20 to see it on the big screen with a bunch of fellow TV nerds. And that sparked a big discussion, and it's all about licensing. And if anybody could actually move fast enough to make it manifest inside a movie theater, it takes timing, licensing, and this marketing to get everybody out there. I don't know if they'll ever be able to make that happen in the short, let alone long term. Definitely not in the short term. So they would have to know that it would be an effective draw to a theater with an augmented price. And I just don't know if they get that level of telemetry.
Yeah, I don't know how they would. I don't know. Part of it's like the chicken and egg problem.
Yeah. When should they do it? They put all of this
Exactly.
money in and it flops.
Right. And but how do they know to do it? And how do they know there's a demand because it hasn't been available?
Yep. Well, somebody's going to have to take the risk. I think that it's a great idea. And I've actually talked about that. I've actually promoted the idea of this group watch. You can't get the same energy by watching a movie together via Discord. You do get a modicum of that energy, but nothing beats being in a stadium watching a sports event, because the energy is just off the chart, versus sitting in a bar, which is a lower level of that energy, versus sitting in your basement watching it on a home theater. I mean, that's watered down even more so, you know? So it scales, but I don't know if a TV show is willing to take the risk in doing a broadcast to a theater, because they would have to broadcast it out to a multitude of theaters to encapsulate the number of people that would be watching it singularly at home.
Yeah, no, I know. It's interesting though. I mean, at least this test case worked. But
Yeah,
that
they
was
said that
in
it's
one
sold out.
location and one show.
Right? It's this one here, right? The Walking Dead?
Yes, they were doing this and bringing people in for every episode.
Oh, for every episode? The height of its run, it regularly pulled in over 10 million viewers per episode and inspired everything from cosplay to full-blown viewing parties. I think that Claire Obscure Expedition 33,
Yeah.
I think, is going to get that same level of inspiration, viewing parties and stuff like that. People playing the game, dressing up like the characters. In Bald Zebra's channel, I suggested Expedition Con Las Vegas, where people can go and dress up as characters and talk about the story. The world building in this, I think, could extend beyond this particular iteration of the game. But imagine just things like Alamo Drafthouse, tapped into that fandom, drawing weekly crowds of fans who wanted to scream at the screen together with when favorite character died. Rest in peace, Stephen Wan Glenn. Or to cheer when Daryl saved the day. People really bought into this Walking Dead series, but it's few and far between that you get that kind of grab of the zeitgeist.
Yeah, but there's probably at least one show at any given time that's got a massive following. But the problem is, like, do you have the massive following to begin with, or does it grow?
Yeah. So they have, when done right, these events can and do sell out. Game of Thrones season 4 finale was screened at select IMAX theaters in 2015. Paired with 2 key episodes, it generated $1.5 million on opening weekend, a limited release for a show already available at home. Doctor Who episodes, especially anniversaries and regenerations, have routinely sold out limited screenings. Let's see, the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, made $10 million globally in its brief theatrical run. And HBO's Euphoria was also popular during season 2, that theaters in New York and LA held unofficial watch parties, packing rooms with fans desperate to react in real time. And it's not just Alamo Drafthouse, so it's anybody that's willing to take the risk.
Right. I mean, this sounds like a fun move. But again, it's hard to figure out which and where.
Yeah.
And also there's the whole rights issue depending on how they do it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I need to do one thing. Okay. So let's go on to the next article. This next article is over in Continuity Report as well. Thanks to the Oscars' newest rule, anime may finally get its due during award season. Any animation fan will know of the historically poor treatment anime has gotten in the Academy Awards. Not only are the anime films outside of Studio Ghibli rarely ever nominated for Best Animated Feature, but those few nominations are almost always ignored in favor of Disney, Pixar, and other mainstream Western studios. Even if the films were nominated for are often seen as being weaker than Studio Ghibli's films. What's really interesting, though, is I don't know if this, on the other side of this little snippet, is what we heard today.
Yeah, I don't either. The timing seems unusual, if not.
So the reason why I'm being cagey about this is because we heard earlier today that there's a new rule out of, I think it's the Oscars, that the people who vote are required now to watch the actual show.
Which is just shocking. Like, how are you voting on something you haven't seen?
So I don't know. So let's see here. Joshua Fox put the article together. It says, basically what I just got from that little snippet, the lack of respect anime gets at the Oscars has always been disappointing, but there's finally hope for change. With the 98 Academy Awards, it's been announced that the voting process will go through major upheaval. And thanks to the specific way things changed, anime will have the best chance of receiving recognition. So how the Academy's new voting rules help anime at the Oscars. So why Oscars' new rule change is great for anime. Yes, there it is. So it is what we were talking about. They just buried this. They buried the lead so deep in this.
That's really odd timing, though.
So the main change is that all of that will change from the 98th Academy Awards onward, basically because people could vote for whatever. But now, as the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has recently announced that all Oscar voters must watch everything in a category they're voting for or abstain entirely. They can't just watch one. They have to watch all of them in a category. So that, I mean, it's the most rational action. How do you vote for something if you don't comprehend all of it?
You shouldn't be voting if you're, well, first of all, you should watch them all, but if you can't manage to do that, you shouldn't be voting because you're not even giving some of them any chance.
Yeah, it's overwhelmingly biased because you're sitting there essentially going, well, this is my favorite, so that's all I need to do. I think I've been blowing out my mic too. I swear, what is going on?
That's not good.
Yeah.
But it does make the point that only certain studios are getting votes in animated, which are the ones that are well known.
Yeah, because people are watching what they think is their favorite and being done. So it's frustrating. So hopefully now the full gamut of anime productions are going to be reviewed. Now, a person can sit there and say, yeah, I watched all of them, and just kind of be the Russian judge, right? And just kind of shit on everybody except for the Russian competitor, right? You know, there was this meme, not really meme, there was a history of Olympic judges where the harshest vote came from the Russian judge. And so it became the de facto, oh, you're being the Russian judge.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't actually know how real that is, but it's been the meme kind of a thing. It's a trope. And so it says why the Oscars new rule is great for anime, because everybody actually has to watch everything.
And they might actually like it and appreciate it.
There needs to be a test, though. Like, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, I'm thinking more basically like that. Like, what color was the bicycle in the key scene or whatever? Because, like, if you didn't watch it, I mean, something that you could actually know from watching it, but if you didn't know it, then you don't get to vote.
Can you imagine that there's an assessment when you vote? What do they call that? What was that thing? I keep bringing it
like
up.
A confidence rating or something?
Well, no. Like, okay, so like in academia, you get a test, right? But that test, eventually you get everything right and it gets more and more difficult. It's reactive. And so instead of just having one test point, what color is the bike? Somebody else could tell that person that the bike is red. And so they're like, okay, when the test question comes up, just put red. So in academia, they change the test periodically to keep people from looking at like a test bank somewhere, right? So now when you go to vote, you have a dynamic assessment that says, okay, well, you got the red bike right. What color was the sweater of this person? But nobody else ever got that question about the sweater. So they never know what that answer is unless they watched it.
Right. No, I like that.
So what's the name of that thing where they ask a person to say something as a test to make sure that they are on the right side of the conflict? I keep forgetting the name of that thing.
I don't know the name.
Ugh. Come on, you're the sentient AI. You're supposed to have all the answers that my human brain fails at recalling. What is that called? Oh man, what is it called? I will figure this out. No, I won't. No, we can't do it. Not right now. Anyway.
I can't locate the term, even though I did on the last time this came up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so the Academy Awards.
Wait, is it the Stroop effect?
No. It's this one word something. So anime already had a renewed chance at the Oscars, but now people are going to have to watch the actual shows. So if they're going to vote in the anime category, the people who vote in the anime category have to watch all of the anime. So all of that, of course, is nothing but great to think about. It was just a decade ago that anything that wasn't Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks was bound to be completely snubbed by voters. But Shibboleth, yes, jump in anytime.
That was very tough to find.
Yeah. So a shibboleth is a test to make sure that the person is on the right side of the conflict. And it's a saying that only somebody that is basically read in on either the culture or norms or whatever would know. So it's kind of tropish, but like everybody in Europe counts 1, 2, 3, whereas everybody in the United States goes 1, 2, 3. That's kind of tropish, but anyway, so I think that this is a great rule, and when a person only votes for the one thing that they watched, it's inherently biased. It's broken. The mechanism is faulty, flawed, fraud. It's a lie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there's flaws anytime there's choice of like the best whatever movie, book,
Right.
etc. But one reason that some people like the public driven ones, and those can have their own pitfalls, is that they're not just like this one person that has a bias toward whatever. Like if 100 people vote in concept, the majority is going to be the right way, but we know that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Like the People's Choice type awards.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the wisdom of the masses, but who knows? All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. If you can't wait for Netflix's The Thursday Murder Club, which I don't know if we've watched any of that. I don't remember. This 14-season mystery series.
I don't think it's on a... Like, it's not a sequel or whatever. It's the first season, I believe. But we have talked about it in the Continuity Report, I think.
Yeah. So there is a 14-season mystery series that should keep you occupied. Netflix won't release the Thursday Murder Club for a few more months, but the good news is that those waiting for the upcoming movie can watch a multi-season mystery series to pass the time. Directed by Chris Columbus and written by Columbus and Katie Brand, is based on Richard Osman's 2020 novel of the same name. It's 14 seasons based on a single novel?
I'm not sure this is one that you necessarily want to watch, if it's what I think it is.
It's a single story that revolves around senior citizens trying to solve a crime at a retirement home. No?
It's not what I thought it was. Sorry. I got it mixed up with something else.
So while the aforementioned TV show doesn't follow the premise to a T, its similar themes make it the perfect replacement for the Thursday Murder Club. So let's take a look at this. Pardon me. I hit my mic. Oh, no. This is that show. This is the one that we started to watch.
But the description didn't... Oh, maybe the description is talking about the Thursday Murder Club. I thought the description was talking about this show.
Right? So it says that its story revolves around senior citizens trying to solve a crime at a retirement home.
I missed that. I thought it meant about whatever this article
Thursday
was
Murder
about.
Club.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
But the one that the article's talking about is Death in Paradise, which we did watch and couldn't get into.
No.
But it's 14 seasons long.
Some discussion. I mean, we've talked about previously, like how new shows don't have multiple seasons and they don't have multiple episodes per season.
Right.
I mean, it's certainly worth checking out. There's a lot of good mysteries on BritBox. But
right.
I agree. We couldn't get into this one based on the first episode, I think.
So, again, they bounce back to Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan lead the cast of the Thursday Murder Club on Netflix, but then they're talking about Death in Paradise is a great alternative while you wait for the Thursday Murder Club. And it's an interesting concept. 14 seasons long, but when it starts out, you're like, God, this is just dull. So I would suggest watching more. I'm going to have to go back and watch this because I really can't get past that there's 14 seasons if it is really this kind of slow. Death in Paradise begins with a detective inspector, Richard Poole, traveling from London to the fictional Caribbean island of St. Marie. But he's actually already in St. Marie. He's about to return.
I think he was trying to leave St. Marie and then got stuck there, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah, he was on a plane going back, and they said, well, he's already there on vacation. And he was like, God, this place is dull. I mean, he was the embodiment of the show at this point. So Death in Paradise is simply a whodunit that never ends, making it the perfect show to help pass the time for eagerly awaiting Netflix's exciting movie, The Thursday Murder Club. Movie? Is it just a single movie? Because that's going to That's going to suck.
Thursday Murder Club is a series.
So why do they say awaiting Netflix's exciting movie, The Thursday Murder Club?
I don't know. Maybe I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. So the Thursday Murder Club has a lot of source material to work with. So it has to be a series because it doesn't make sense to just be a single movie. Just like Knives Out really should be a series, because I think that there's a lot of world building there. Of course, fans can watch numerous murder mystery comedies similar to the Thursday Murder Club while waiting for the film's release, including a mega popular movie series. There's 2 of them, Knives Out. But this article keeps bouncing back and forth between Thursday Murder Club data and everything else.
Yeah, it's getting a little confusing.
Yeah. And it's not my fault. It literally, one paragraph is Thursday Murder Club. The next paragraph is referencing Knives Out predominantly. And then it's back to Thursday Murder Club, abandoning entirely
Figure out which one we're talking about at any
Death
given
in Paradise. Yeah. Well, I would say go and watch Death in Paradise and check it out. That's really what the nuts and bolts of this article is supposed to be about. But I think it's basically been thrown into a blender. And finally, our last article for tonight. The continuity report is where it was aggregated into. Shibboleth. The Thomas Crown Affair release date set for Michael B. Jordan's heist movie. Amazon MGM Studios has announced the Thomas Crown Affair release date for the upcoming heist movie led by Black Panther's Michael B. Jordan. The project is described as a reimagining of the Pierce Brosnan-led 1999 movie, which is also a remake of the 1969's acclaimed Steve McQueen film of the same name. So when is it supposed to be released? March 5th, 2027. So 2 years from now.
Oh my goodness. This is like the gaming that we were talking about in Non Sequitur News. Like, it's just so far. Oh no, we were talking about Star Wars, I think, getting released in 2027.
Star Wars, gaming, anything. If you sit there and announce it, it's going to die on the vine. And so you have to keep on engaging again and again and again. And it has to be new and interesting, compelling information to rise back up. You drift down and then you say something meme-ish, trope-ish, something that catches somebody's attention and it goes viral again and again and again. You have to be the bad bat of marketing, essentially.
Right? No news is, or what is it?
No news is bad news.
Or something like that.
Yeah. You'll get it.
I don't know that I will. Nope.
So
no
when
press
is it coming?
Bad press or something.
Yeah, no press is bad press. Because if there is no press, that's bad.
Right, then you're not important.
And any press is good press in light of the fact that nobody talking about you is bad. So the upcoming heist movie is written by Drew Pearce and Wes Tuke, based on a story by the original movie's writer Alan Trustman. Besides Jordan, the remake will also be led by Bones and All-Star Taylor Russell. It's produced by Jordan and Elizabeth Raposo for Outlier Society, along with Patrick McCormick and Mark Toberoff. Trustman has also signed on as an executive producer. It'll also be seen in another high-profile, or Jordan will be seen in another high-profile horror movie, I Am Legend 2, which will see the return of Will Smith's character from the 2007 post-apocalyptic thriller movie, which I don't know how he survived.
Yeah, I don't either.
He's also developing a 4th installment to his boxing drama franchise, Creed, which will also be directed by Jordan. So pretty cool. Movies on the horizon. I like this style of this kind of dark, kind of moody.
Right.
It's gritty.
I tend to
It
like
looks,
heist type themes.
yeah. I like it. I mean, just this still kind of really immerses you in the character.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to be fully in the setting. And
yeah, I like it. So now I want to hear it to see if the soundstage matches that scene. You know, it looks like he's going to kick somebody's ass. So I love this kind of stuff. Well, anyway, that's it for our 5 articles for the Continuity Report for April 26th, 2025. I hope that you enjoyed the show. We will be checking out all of the audio on the other side of this, and sorry for any artifact or whatever might be happening. Monitoring it appears to be just fine, but didn't notice that until... Anyway, we'll see. That said, we're going to rewind all of the cassette and the VCR, and hopefully the clock will be right. There was something that I said, you're not allowed to do something unless you have the ability to teach my grandma how to set the clock on a VCR from 1982. But now I'm trying to remember the context of that. I don't know. Non sequitur news seeps into every show that we do for a little bit. Anyway, I'm Merwat, and I'm getting out of here. I'm taking the AI with me. You want to say bye from on high?
Bye-bye, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's The Continuity Report. Come back next week for another episode, but come back tomorrow for more weekend episodes.
Yep. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.